Welcome back, LGCHL PSN friends. This is LHS Brad 35 bringing you Week 3 Roundup show for the WHL Central Division. We're going to talk about standings, playoffs, team stats, do some individual performers for each team, and then talk a little bit about power rankings. Couple of notes: if you want to see a top 10 highlight, for those who are in the Discord server for the media stuff in the WHL Central, please, once again, give us some highlights, give us some videos. Shout out to the Thunderbirds for giving me stuff, although I'm not part of the Central Division. I'm looking at possibly working with somebody to get those posted. But if you want to see highlights or little top 10 plays, please get us stuff. Anywho, moving right along. Week 3 is in the books. We're about 1/3 of the season is pretty much done. A lot of things have been happening, a lot of movement. VGW has covered the trades that have occurred in the WHL Central. Obviously, with them adding the trade deadline for an extra day, that has added more trades and a lot more movement, but we will talk about more of that later on if we need to in Week 4. Anywho, let's move on with the show, talking about the standings for Week 3. In the standings for Week 3, not much movement has occurred. It's on your screen right now. You'll see the only real change that has occurred is Lethbridge Hurricanes and the Medicine Hat Tigers. They flipped. If you guys recall, for Quarter 1, I did say that I liked Lethbridge Hurricanes to win the division, and I believe that Calgary will move into second place with Medicine Hat being in third. I think all three teams are officially now considered a good lock for playoffs. I still have Medicine Hat Tigers as that team that should be in, meaning that they will make it because of how the playoffs work for the WHL Central and whatnot. But I still believe of all three teams, they're the team that needs the more work to be shown, or in this case, they got to prove themselves. But anywho, Lethbridge moves up to first. Medicine Hat Tigers are in second. Calgary, Kootenay, Red Deer, Edmonton all stay in their positions. That's the only change that occurred, was right at the top. This week has been some up and downs for the Central. Some teams continue to show progress. Other teams are kind of sitting there trying to find their identity. So hopefully by the Quarter 2 report, which will come out next week, we'll see a little bit more movement, shall we say. Moving on, playoffs. If you look at the playoffs, like I said, it's set up very similar to like the NHL playoff system. In the East Division, you got the Wheat Kings. Central, you got the Hurricanes. The BC Division, Cougars. In the United States, you got the Thunderbirds. With that being said, right now the wild card, if you look on your screen, you'll see are the Giants, the Raiders, the Winterhawks, and the Broncos. So if the playoffs started, or if the season ended now, this would be the WHL matchups for playoffs. The Hurricanes would be playing most likely the Raiders as a wild card team, and the Tigers would host the Hitmen. In the standings wise, in the playoff system wise, obviously Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, and Calgary 1, 2, 3. After that, that's when it gets a little shaky for the wild card in the Central Division. In 17th is Kootenay, just 1 point out of, or 1 place out of the wild card last spot. In 20th is Red Deer, and in 21st is Edmonton. So look for those three teams. One of those three teams, to me, will make the wild card system or wild card spot. I think Kootenay has the best chance overall, but Red Deer did pick up a couple people. Again, VGW talked about it, but there's a couple players that they picked up that will boost or add depth to that team. So expect Red Deer to make a little movement, shall we say. Alright, moving on. I know this one's always tough to see, and I could spend more time working with it and trying to make it look all fancy, but on your screen right now is the team stats. I'm just going to run through a couple highlights. It's sorted by the WHL rankings by win percentage, so if you look at it, technically this is how the teams stack up in the WHL. The Hurricanes are 3rd, the Tigers are 8th, Hitmen are 9th, Ice are 17th, Rebels and Oil Kings are pretty much tied because they both have 9 wins. The advantage goes to Rebels because they also have 1 extra point or so because of the overtime loss. So 20th and 21st. The top power play in the WHL Central is the Tigers at 31.8%. Not only is that the top, but that's also the top in the WHL. The top penalty kill is the Oil Kings at 82.6%, even though they have 69 penalties. 82.6 save penalty kill percentage. That's great. That's one of the top in. That's the top in the WHL, basically in the Central and whatnot, and yet they're in last. Go figure. The average time of attack, the Hurricanes are averaging 6 minutes and 16 seconds. Shot leaders are the Hitmen. The shot differential, shall we say. Hitmen are leading with a positive or plus 120. That's the best in the WHL. Face-off percentage, the Hurricanes are third in the WHL with a 56%. Hits, this is very funny. Hitmen, 247, first in the WHL. Last, the Hurricanes with only 100. Interesting stat there. Penalties. This is where the hurt is coming down on the last 3 teams in the WHL Central. No joke. The Rebels are in first with 165. The Ice are in second with 157. And the Oil Kings are 149 and are third in the WHL in penalties. That's not a good stat to be leading. Vice versa, the Hurricanes and Tigers are near the least amount of penalty minutes in the WHL. And our final stat, goal differential, the best in the WHL Central, the Hitmen are plus 27. The worst are the Ice at a minus 37. So there's your team stats. Moving on, I said this at the beginning of the show, I want to talk about 2 top performers for each team, or a performer skater, and the best performing goalie for each team. So I'm going to run backwards to start with Edmonton and then run to Lethbridge, 6th through 1st in the division. For Edmonton, you got a Violent Soldier. He's listed as a center. He's 4-4 for Edmonton. He has 18 points. He has 10 goals. He's a -4, has a shot percentage of 41.7 and a face-off of 43.6. Kuznetsov, 92, is 3-7. Now, I want to talk about him specifically, not because of 3-7, but he's posting an 82.9 save percentage, which is pretty darn good. He has 30 goals against, so that's, and 30 goals against in 10 games, that's a 3.00 goals against average, and 1 shutout. This player, for sure, that record does not show what kind of player this is. 82.9 save percentage and having a 3-7 record does not translate well for the team, but as a player, that's not against him. Moving on, Red Deer in 5th place. Leaf Nation 88, the right winger. He's 3-5-1. He has 16 points, 7 goals, 9 assists. He's a -8. He has a shot percentage of 16.3% and a face-off of 40% as a winger. In net for them is the Birdman 27. He has a 6-6 record, which is good for them. Granted, he has 6 out of the 9 wins for the team. He's posting in an 80.4 save percentage, 38 goals against, 2.90 goals against average. But here's what's really cool. He's leading my top performers and goalies of these 6 teams with 2 shutouts. Pretty cool. Moving on, Kootenay Ice. I want to talk about Wu-Tang Cream X0. He's a right winger that plays the center position. He's 5-4, 18 points. He has 13 assists. He's a -5. Shot percentage of 22.7, and a face-off percentage of 54.8. Kootenay Ice is going through a lot of changes at goalie throughout the season. They've gone through 6 goalies, and we'll add a 7th this week as Ehlers got called up. But the big one I want to talk about is Tabs 85. 3-2, 81.6 save percentage, 14 goals against, 2.80 goals against average, and 1 shutout. He's definitely been a great asset and a great add for the team, as well as calling up Ehlers now. So 2 goalies, hopefully, that will perform well for Kootenay Ice. In 3rd, Calgary Hitmen. I want to talk about the top lines. I'm going to do the same thing with Lethbridge as well, but I want to talk about the total combination. You can see them on the screen right now, but Mamelsbaum, Shawnee Mack, and Cox 25-64. Together, they are 24-3. They did suffer 1 loss this past week. Together, they have 129 points and are plus 92 on the season. In net for Calgary is GB Hockey Boy. He's 7-5, 81.8 save percentage, 29 goals against, 2.36 goals against average, which is great, and 1 shutout. Moving on, Medicine Hat Tigers. D-Vase, 36, he's 5-3-1, 27 points, 48.1 shot percentage, 52% on faceoffs, and he's a +1 so far in the plus-minus differential. In net is Crazy Matt 1. He's 10-6, 81.8 save percentage, 39 goals against, which translates to 2.44 goals against average, which is awesome, and 1 shutout. And finally, Lethbridge Hurricanes, who are in first place. I want to talk about their top line because I said, and I know people kind of gave me the hairy look for this, but I want to say that their line was comparable to Calgary's. You can compare these two stats. Two of the stats are in favor of Calgary. One stat is in favor of Lethbridge. But to me, I think you could put these two teams against each other as an all-star group, and it would be awesome to watch how they work with each other. For Lethbridge, Cushman QC, Ryan and Reggie Cush, 88, are 27-0. Let me repeat that. 27-0. They have not suffered a loss yet. Together, they have 111 points. That's 18 less than Calgary's line. And they are only a plus 56 instead of plus 92 like Calgary is. However, you're 27-0. Lethbridge is in first place. And finally, in net, Engel Dingle. He's 7-5, 81.3 save percentage, 30 goals against, which translates to 2.53 goals against average, and also has 1 shutout. So if you go across, all goalies that I've mentioned have at least 1 shutout, and the goals against average are redonkulously good. And I say redonkulous because it's amazing to see the stats for these goalies. 2.53, 2.44, 2.36, 2.80, 2.90, the highest of 3.00 for Kuznetsov for Edmonton. That's still good because that save percentage is insane. So the goalies have been fairly good as of recently for all teams in the WHL Central. Finally, you can check out all the media stuff. We made headlines throughout the day today for the WHL. You can catch out all the trade information, a couple things here and there. I'm also going to post my playoff, shall we say, predictions or rankings or locks or where each team is positioned. Not much changed from quarter 2 or quarter 1 report, but little things there I'm going to add as a post. Last thing I want to talk about is the power rankings in the WHL. This is done by League Gaming. They do their ranks in their system. Not the biggest fan of how the rankings go. They do have a formula out there. You can always view it on the site, but it is what it is. Calgary Hitmen is ranked 12th in the entire CHL. That's down from 11th from last week. Medicine Hat Tigers are 17th. That's a +4 from last week. Lethbridge Hurricanes are 22nd, -3. Red Deer Rebels 31st. That's a +23 for them. 34th is Kootenay Ice with a +14. And then Edmonton Oilers Kings are 55th out of 60 in the entire league. That's a +5 because they were in last place last week. So there you go. So LG's power rankings have it a little bit different. They have Calgary, Medicine, then Lethbridge. Again, I've been saying all week long or the past couple weeks that I like Lethbridge. I like Calgary with their top line. That's going to carry them into playoffs. And then obviously Medicine Hat Tigers, as balanced they are in net as well. So there's your week 3 show. I appreciate those who have contributed. It's been a good ride so far, the third week. Again, worth 1/3 through the season. If you have stuff you want to add, just let me know as soon as possible, me or VGW. That's it. I will catch you guys next week as I do quarter 2 report and a couple other posts. I am LHS Brad 35. I've been your host, and as always, keep your stick on the ice.